Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. My name's Jacob. I am joined here by Evan.
Yellow.
And we are going to be covering Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 6 today. We're going to do something a little bit different. So if you are viewing, well, if you're listening on Spotify, nothing's probably new. Actually, you can upload video to Spotify, so maybe it would be. But we're not like doing video in the sense of showing our face, but we have this visual aid in front of us that Evan has set up so that as we talk about these groups in Middle-earth, in Rings of Power, we can kind of see whereabouts in Middle-earth they are. So obviously we have Númenor, that's not on a map of Middle-earth, and Evan will note that later, but we can see how spread out these groups are. And it's kind of cool to have that visual aid. So if you are watching on video, I hope you enjoy that. But we're going to talk
forgive
about, like
my
I said,
shoddy preparation of this. I did the best I could in the time I had.
and Evan saying that is like pretty. We are always trying to brainstorm because, like, for a while, I mean, forever, this has just been kind of like, this is fun to do. We're going to do it. But like, then we start thinking, and we're like, well, we should probably be more intentional about trying to see if this will go anywhere, and because we do enjoy it that much. And so we've started brainstorming some ideas. And one of those is somehow finding a video element to these, because I don't want to do face cam stuff. I don't want that, but we're thinking it through, trying to figure it out. This is one of our options, and so we discussed that at, I think, 5 o'clock today, and now we're recording, so, hey, give him some grace. I don't think it looks that bad. We do have some ideas on how we might be able to improve it, but that'll be
I will just say, some of my friends that are more savvy with this website that we're using could make it look a little more nice. Some
also
of the token icons for the different characters could be a little more neat, but
yeah. But also, you had little preparation time, and I'm grateful that you threw something together. So that's what we're looking at. Like I had said, we are covering episode 6 of season 2. The name of it is Where Is He? As per usual, but
Where's
with a little
Waldo?
bit of a weird... Yeah. Oh. But with a...
Yeah.
Sorry. Have I ever sent you that meme where it was like, I don't know if... it has to be a joke. But it was like, we now resume the Where's Waldo audiobook. And it was just like, man with a hat. Man with glasses. Man with a green shirt and blue shorts. Man wearing rain boots. Waldo. And it was just like, what?
I have not, no.
Anyway, you saying that just made me think of it. But, no, as per usual, our format is going to be summary, ad, discussion. And so this is going to be a little bit weirder of an episode because we have our summary, we have an ad, but I cannot for the life of me remember what I recorded.
Oh, no.
I don't remember what the ad is, and I'm looking through, and this is crazy because I know I have it. I'm looking through the summary, and nothing is ringing a bell.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we'll see. We will see. I need to add that actually to this. And I think that actually I will remember when I see the title of it, but I'm telling you at this very point, not a clue. Not a single freaking clue.
Ooh,
so let me find it. Well, let's have it be a surprise together. So, firstly, summary. This is just a brief, we break it up by section, but let's get on with it. So In Eregion, Celebrimbor is stress forging the Nine, forgetting names and slowly losing his grip on reality. Annatar steps in, takes over city management, and gaslights Celebrimbor with a literal illusion of peace while war approaches. Meanwhile, a dead soldier shows up, carved with "Where is he?" and Annatar quietly says, "Nothing to see here." I actually do remember what the ad is now. Adar and Galadriel have an extremely tense "let's kill Sauron together" dinner date. He reveals Morgoth's crown and wants to combine it with the elven rings to finish Sauron for good. They agree to cooperate, while neither realizes Sauron is currently chilling in Eregion as Annatar. They kind of have a suspicion, though. Right?
Yeah, they're pretty well on to it at this point.
Okay. The Stranger, Nori, and Poppy. Tom Bombadil sends the Stranger on a mystical side quest. Find your staff, choose your destiny, no takebacks. The Stranger that wants to save Nori, Tom says destiny doesn't do detours. Meanwhile, Nori stays committed to the mission, and Poppy and Nobody share a wholesome, almost romance moment. They kissed. The dwarves, King Durin refuses more mithril exports, not out of wisdom, but because he wants it for the coming war, saying that prices will go up. The ring is clearly amplifying his temper, and he magically blasts Prince Durin across the room. Durin and Disa decide to rebel, weaponizing bats and vowing to stop the kingdom from mining itself into doom. Over in Númenor, Elendil is put on trial and offered freedom if he admits Pharazôn as king. He refuses, doubles down on loyalty to Miriel, and chooses honor over survival. In true Númenorian fashion, they let the sea monster decide, because nothing says justice like aquatic judgment. So that was kind of the in it too. Miriel ends up taking his place and then gets judged by the sea monster instead.
Yeah.
The sea monster favors her, though. So that was kind of the...
Yeah, boy. And I will just say that sea
going on
monster looked sick as heck.
Yes, it did. We'll discuss that in a little bit.
I'm actually going to add that to this slide right now. So,
all right, sounds good. We have an ad. Once I find it, I don't remember what I named it, but I remember the concept of it.
no, I'm not going to add it because that's all going to be on the video recording. So that's there's a little something you're going to have to cut out there, Jake. I'm sorry.
No, that's entirely fine. Maybe it was in here. Is that where my folder is?
Hold on a second. I might actually be able to add it here.
Also, I can edit it out. You can add it on screen. I'll just make note. What's the timestamp right now? I was mainly meaning in the video, in our stream, because I can't see it at the moment.
9:30-ish. 9-minute 30-second-ish for the start of the cutout.
Okay. Where on earth is my dang ad? What did I name it? No, I can't remember that.
Images.
It was like Annatar or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I feel like that's a cool image to
Oh, I found it.
put in. And this is the type of stuff where I was kind of saying where it's like have an image related to what we're talking about in there to like kind of cut to.
Yeah. Honestly, this could be something too, because I'm like more so in the mindset of like... So here's the thing. Nope. We will talk about it after. I'm making note of it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just adding the picture real quick. If my fucking file would open. There we go. And that's what happens when I blow it up. This is the problems I was running into with the images. Okay.
Well, how are you saving them? Because often if you open them up, they have higher res options. And copying and pasting as opposed to saving often will decrease it.
So if I open this... I don't know enough about that. I'm just going to try and roll with how I'm doing it right now. We can fix it on the next run. That way I'm not wasting too much time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's go ahead and cut the height down to 250. Almost there. I'm going to have to zoom in real hard on that, but that'll do for now.
That's fine.
Okay, so time 12:08.
All right, I found my ad. So let's hear from that. This episode is brought to you by Annatar's Recreational Hallucinogens. Is reality too much for you? Do you desire to see something else in your world? Well, then get in touch with Annatar and reshape your reality, where the possibilities are endless. And a small percentage of those possibilities are AIDS.
What?
So, I see that you didn't pick up on that. That was something that I didn't... Do you recall how he was able to influence Celebrimbor's? And this can kick off our discussion. Did you see how he was able to influence Celebrimbor's stuff?
No, I did not.
So there was a scene. Okay, this is now quick. I feel like. Go
ahead. Since we're getting right into it with Celebrimbor and Annatar.
Yes.
This is kind of where we're at from the big map. We'll go ahead and bring us all right over to Eregion. Get this lovely, lovely image.
There we go. So, I will play our ad again after this once I explain it.
Okay.
Actually, no, I won't. It's you remember what it said. So, there was a scene where Celebrimbor was standing, not Celebrimbor, Annatar was standing, and he pulled out a dagger and he cut his arm, or his hand. He sliced it, and he had some blood, and Celebrimbor went to pass him, and he just kind of like touched him. He touched him with the blood, and then because he's freaking like Venom, I would assume that is how he then was able to truly infiltrate. And I don't know what other significance that part would have.
No, I mean, I guess I never really picked up on that detail. But I mean, that would make sense. Right. Especially with what will be seen in a future episode. But no, I mean, I think... Because up until this point with Annatar, he's only been kind of like doing the shady talking bit of like deceiving, you know?
Right.
It's always been like, get you to come up with the answer I want you to come up with so I can trick you into thinking that it was you the whole time type of deal. But in order to get something of like tricking the mind, tricking the eyes into what they're seeing, I feel you would have to, I imagine, do something more, I guess, like potent or like just more physical. So I mean, I think that would make sense. I don't think what else.
I think that's what he did. Else. I mean, he for sure sliced his hand and then touched Celebrimbor with, I'm certain, the same hand. And I'm just like, what is he doing? And then after that, it's like, oh, I think that's, yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting because for sure, as we see in that, he like truly warps what Celebrimbor's seeing because he's like, oh, there's no threat out here. I'll just go back to working on the rings. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, well,
he goes back in, and then it just shrouds, and everybody's running. And
running and screaming and panic and everything. Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, with that detail, because again, I never really, I guess I never noticed that detail. I mean, from what we see in the episode, that's the only thing that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't really hear it talked about in Lord of the Rings a whole lot, but if you get into some of the more, or rather I should say some of the less known books, there are instances of like blood magic that happens in this universe. So it's like through his own blood, Sauron is now physically changing what Celebrimbor sees, what he hears, potentially even what he feels, because like everybody's running around. What happens if, like, say a little kid is terrified and runs up and like brushes against Celebrimbor running past? You know,
I was kind of wondering that. Where like, how does he not like yeah, okay, maybe he doesn't hear stuff or whatever, but like, what if something ran into him? Like, yeah. But anyway,
I would guess it would affect his sense of touch as well. Because, I mean, like, if Sauron's strong enough to, if his blood is potent enough to change what he sees and hears, you know, I mean, unless someone, like, runs up and shakes the crap out of him, I imagine Sauron could influence what he feels as well.
Yeah.
But, no, that's a really good detail. I never noticed that before. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that was all that was really going on in Eregion. Like, he's forgetting names. He's kind of like, he's kind of losing it, you know, a bit. But, I mean, because he's spiraling into this madness kind of in a way that Sauron's continuing to push and try to manipulate him into.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too far into the whole Sauron mastermind stuff, because we've talked about that plenty in previous episodes.
Yeah.
But I will say something that I thought was curious was one of the smiths tells Celebrimbor they're out of mithril, and I never thought they got another shipment of mithril after the 7 Dwarven Rings.
I don't know.
At least not that we saw on screen, I didn't think.
I don't recall, honestly, with that.
Yeah. Like I don't remember a scene or anything explicitly said, other than from Annatar himself or Sauron himself, of, hey, more mithril has arrived in Eregion. And I'm just trying to like think back through, truthfully, this episode and the last episode, and just like, did more mithril just arrive? Like, I don't think any did, at least not that I can recall. Yeah. And so it's like, if they're out of mithril, where did that mithril come from that they have just now run out of? Because it's like, at this point, unless it's leftover mithril from the 7 Dwarven Rings, right? Yeah. Unless it's leftover mithril from those rings, King Durin's had his dwarf ring for a while now, and we see in this episode and in the last episode how greedy that's made him. So it's like he wouldn't just give that away to Eregion anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'd be curious to see where said mithril came from.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, though, I don't really think there's too much more going on with Eregion. It's kind of more of the same, but just kind of we're starting to see the fruits of Sauron's labor of like the falling into like corruption and whatnot.
Right.
But we do have Adar with Galadriel and his orc army outside of Eregion.
Right.
And I mean, some stuff did happen there in this episode.
That is true. Yep.
Kind of, as you said in your summary, Adar and Galadriel had their nice little dinner date to talk about what's going on.
Yeah, and what I have notes on is that Sauron had promised Adar children, and Halbrand promised Galadriel an army. So they're kind of like talking about failed promises kind of things. But Galadriel calls Adar Orc, and he corrects her saying Uruk.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
And I mean, that's not the first time we've seen him make that correction either. Because in season 1, Galadriel calls him Orc, and he corrects her as well.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and so in watching this episode and having like the subtitles on, it even says Uruk is not just say like a common word. It says like in Kenyan or whatever, in like the Elvish language, in like quotes, and then it says Uruk. So it's like Uruk isn't even just a common language word. That is an Elvish word, presumably just for orc. But for some reason, Adar is offended by the common use, or like the common language translation of it. Yeah. And I'm assuming that just goes back to like to him originally being an elf himself, right?
He's
And
just maybe that's trying my to word.
Yeah. I was gonna go with he's kind of clinging to the past, but sure. But no, Galadriel though in one of these scenes agrees to work with Adar to get Sauron.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big deal, if you ask me.
I don't know why
she's
you
been
had to say
all
it
about
like that. I want to
killing
punch you in the tit.
Is a pretty big deal.
Widowy, it's the biggest deal ever. Anyway, that's like what I think. I think of our friend freaking Errol when he does that. Widowy, like that thing,
Yeah.
that voice. God. Well, anyway. I did not like how you said that.
But no, Galadriel agrees to work with Adar, which is a pretty big deal because up until this point, her whole thing has been like killing orcs and hunting down Sauron.
Yeah,
and now she's kind of compromising one.
Well, because she is, I think she's kind of seeing somewhat of logic in it, in some way, where she's like, we could temporarily align,
right,
and be stronger. But, obviously she's still conflicted.
Right. But there definitely is conflict in her there, but at the same time, she is... I don't even know if I would call it logic, just because of, like, we know how orcs are and what they represent, right? Like, they are evil, they represent solely evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, just on the surface, it's like, yeah, allying with an enemy to take down the greater threat, right? Just on the surface. But when you take into account what your current enemy is and what they represent, it's like, is she being logical, or is Adar starting to kind of corrupt her and trick her at the same time as Sauron?
I don't know about that part, but...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it would go to that extent, because we haven't seen anything, through season 1 up until this point to suggest that Adar has any sort of magic, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, obviously we've seen instances of it with Sauron. But I don't know. I feel like Galadriel is definitely compromising here.
Yeah.
In a pretty significant way.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I will say I don't know if that will lead to worse things in the future, like, say, in Season 3, whenever, if ever, that comes out. But I feel like she's definitely compromising here in at least a significant enough way to be mentioned.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Unless you had anything else for Eregion specifically.
No, can you go back to the map?
Yeah. I was going to stick with Eregion a little bit here. Because...
That's fine, but I did not... I think it is very interesting how close that group is.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like...
Because I left this little space here.
I didn't realize it was that close to Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, I left a little space here between Adar and Galadriel, and then Celebrimbor and Annatar, just to show, like, they're in the same spot, but they're not fully together.
Right.
But yeah, then you have Moria or Khazad-dûm right there. Yeah. But with the map pulled up like this, I do think it's important to grab old Arondir down here from Pelagar and pull him all the way up over here to join that group. Because when we see Arondir in the beginning of this episode, he is traveling to Eregion, where he finds 3 orcs and kills them.
Yeah.
And he finds a battle map of the orc plan to attack Eregion.
Right.
So Arondir is now up here, close to Eregion and Khazad-dûm, close to the orc army. And so we've had some sort of time jump, because as we saw on the map, he came from all the way down here, like halfway across Middle Earth, across mountains.
There's a little legend down there that shows what 200 miles is.
Yeah.
And if we're looking at that, that is easily at least, like, I would estimate that to be about 600 miles.
So I can actually do something here. Grab the measuring tape. So on this, 80 feet is 200 miles with the measuring tool I have.
Okay.
At least 400 miles. A little over 400 miles.
Yeah, because it shows up as 190 feet, so divided by the 80... Yeah, it's closer to 400.
Yeah, it's a little over... It's probably closer to 500 miles.
But that's also not to mention that he's probably going to go up about northeast a tiny bit before going off that direction, because he's navigating mountains, too.
Yeah, either northeast or hard west and then north, but I feel like that would just take so much longer that he'd probably just kind of go the route you were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has to navigate mountains and probably has to go through the Gap of Rohan right here, which, Rohan hasn't been established yet at this point in time, but he would have gone through what will be Gondor up near what will be Minas Tirith, over through the west fold of what will be Rohan, possibly passing near either Helm's Deep or what will be Helm's Deep, and then what will be Isengard, right? So, like, he's passing through some areas we've seen on screen before. Mm-hmm. They just wouldn't have, the buildings, fortifications, that sort of stuff built yet.
Right.
But yeah, that dude,
I just think
hoofing it.
Yeah, he really is. I really like seeing the map correlating to this stuff, so I'm appreciating this. So, before we continue, Evan, I'm going to take a little sidestep.
Oh.
And by sidestep, I mean complete 180, because I had a thought and I don't want to ignore it.
Okay.
You play a lot of Binding of Isaac, yeah?
Yes.
Did you see the new game put out by that developer?
I have not.
It is called Mugenics. And it's like a cat battling, like, breeding game.
What?
I don't know how to explain this. I'm going to look it up. Okay. Mugenics. It is... No, that's the soundtrack. Where's the actual game?
This is really just way out of left field.
Where on earth is this game? Because maybe it's not on Steam.
Oh, hi there, kitty.
That's kind of crazy. Okay, let me pull it up elsewhere. Mugenics.
Come on.
Oh, now you put it to me on Steam. Why was it not showing up? Whatever, yeah. Build the ultimate cat army through tactical breeding and send them into deep, challenging, turn-based adventures. Draft abilities, collect items, and manipulate genetics across generations in this roguelike tactics game from the creators of The Binding of Isaac and The End Is Nigh.
Interesting.
Dude, it looks so goofy, but my boss is playing it nonstop. He said it's like super fun. But anyway, you play a lot of Binding of Isaac, so I'm just like, I had that thought, and I'm like, actually, I wonder if I can see how many hours he's put into it already. View friend list. View profile.
Yeah, this is a really interesting and not related to Lord of the Rings whatsoever path.
No, it isn't at all. Yeah, dude. This game released on... Let's see, when did this release? This game released on February 10th. So 2 weeks ago, and he's put 30 hours into it. But looks like fun, but random.
Anyways.
Yeah.
My point of Arondir, though, was... I originally didn't even think of the distance he's traveled, but my point of it was the 3 orcs that he killed. As I said, he found a map on one of the bodies detailing the plan to attack Eregion on it. But what I found really interesting was before he attacks the orcs, 2 of them are talking, and they're talking about like getting as far away from Adar as possible because he's become overwhelmed or like become obsessed with this idea of needing to kill Sauron. And they don't like it. So they're trying to leave, and Arondir just happens to stumble across them. Which I thought was really interesting, because it's like we see Adar have such... He shows a lot of compassion and love towards these orcs, but it doesn't necessarily seem like that love/compassion/loyalty is reciprocated back to him, which I thought was a really interesting thing to see on screen.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm yawning a lot.
Yeah.
My room is hot, and I'm tired. I'm like in a little sauna.
And I will say, because we saw it last episode, with Elrond, I know we didn't have Elrond and Gil-galad in this episode. Maybe at the end we did. I don't remember now off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure it was last episode, Elrond was leading his company, right, to go to Eregion, and with the map pulled up now, we can kind of see the distance from Lindon to Eregion, and if I use the little measuring tool here again, straight shot is almost 200 miles. Maybe a little over 200 miles. So even in that last episode, we saw a pretty significant distance being traveled.
Should be about like 400, wouldn't it? What was measure the legend again?
The legend was 80 feet.
Right. So 85 is 285. And then there
okay, yeah, so it'd be close to
400 miles.
400.
It's 175. So...
Yeah, so Arondir travels in a straight shot the same distance as Elrond and Galadriel did when they were trying to get to Eregion, but Arondir would have had to take a more roundabout route to get there, so he would have traveled further. But I do like having this map up and being able to measure like that to get like appropriate distances and stuff. That's really nifty.
Yeah.
I like it. And then from Gilgalad and Lindon all the way over to the Stranger in them is like 400 divided by 80. It's I don't know. I don't think that's how that works. But
5?
Maybe times.
5? 5? What would be? No, that'd be... What am I
No, it'd
thinking?
be 400 times. Math, whatever. They're a long ways away.
Hold on. We got to figure this out. You said 400 divided by 80?
I don't know if it's divided by. I might be just dumb.
No, 400 divided by 80 would tell you how many times that little stretch of 80 goes into that. So that makes sense. 5.
5. So then 5 times 200. It's like 1,000 miles.
Wait. Son of a biscuit, why am I freaking blanking so hard on this? It's just math. Yes, I'm right.
So yeah, that'd be like 1,000 miles from Lindon over to roughly where the Stranger, Nori, and Poppy are.
Now here's a question that since you have this up, where did the Harfoots, like obviously they go around, but what area were they in? Like how far have Nori and the Stranger and Poppy
The Harfoots
gone?
would roughly be rough estimate right around this area.
That area.
Roughly in there. They might be a little further north or maybe a little further west. I couldn't say 100%, but roughly that area. Which is how, when Mount Doom erupted, it messed up their grove that they were trying to get to.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is also very strange because if you take that all the way over to the Shire, all the way up here.
Yeah.
If the Harfoots originate down over near Mordor, what happens for them to go 400 plus miles to settle in the Shire?
Well, that's another thing, though, because we've obviously seen where there's subdivisions of them.
Right.
Like
because
you've
got the Stores
residing in Rune.
Yeah, you've got the Stores over in Rune.
Right, and so it's kind of like, I mean, I don't think it's a guarantee that these Harfoots were ancestors of people, ones in the Shire. I think it's probably pretty likely, honestly.
Yeah.
But we do see that there are broken up things, so for all we know, there could have been a separate one that went off and was just like, you know what, I want to build a house in this hill.
That's very true. That very well could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But I think the intention for the producers was that like the Harfoots are the ancient ancestors of the Hobbits.
Oh, right. Like I said,
is my
I think
assumption.
That's pretty likely.
So I mean, I guess with that assumption in place, what would cause them to move from just about Mordor all the way over to where the Shire will one day be founded?
Right.
But I mean, with that though, we kind of go into the Harfoots and the Stranger. Because they got a little bit going on over there. I mean, Nori and Poppy, not so much, right? Like you kind of said in the summary, Poppy's kind of got a little fling going right now with Merrimack, nobody, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
A little bit of a fling going on there, but we'll see if that lasts, maybe.
I want to just point out that I think in a comparison between Jar Jar's romance and this romance, I care about Jar Jar's more. This dynamic, this thing that they're pushing just makes me up. Like, I hate it. And I don't really know why.
I don't like it either, but I would prefer this over the Jar Jar romance, personally. I cannot. The Jar Jar romance makes me want to throw up. This
makes me want to throw up, dude. This brother's probably eating bugs. Actually, she even comments on his breath.
Yeah, because something like, did you have lizard, I think it was, for dinner or something. Yeah. But, yeah, not a whole lot really advances with Nori and Poppy, But we do get a little bit more with the stranger and good old Tom Bombadil.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stranger's still looking for his staff, but he's also kind of gotten a vision here of... I think he got a vision of, like, Nori being in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to find her as well, and Tom puts him in a pretty crappy kind of ultimatum, more or less.
In a pickle?
Yeah, in a pickle.
In a Tom Bombadil pickle?
Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, moving on. Gosh dang it. Okay. Nope, we're not done.
What?
And Jacob's just sitting there stoically, which is just adding to it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the stranger, not Gandalf, as we've been calling him, gets kind of an ultimatum or a pickle, finds himself in a pickle, where he has to choose between his destiny, aka finding his staff, and saving his friends, that being Nori and Poppy. And I feel like this is one of the instances where we see the most probably like human reaction out of the stranger, where he's actually like seriously struggling to choose which one is the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like up until this kind of this sequence of scenes, the stranger has either come across as, for lack of a better term, a bumbling idiot that's still trying to learn how to do basic things in season 1. And then season 2, a confused, powerful wizard that is probably potentially able to destroy armies with some of the feats we've seen him do.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is kind of the first sequence of scenes where he actually seems to be struggling with what would probably be considered like a human dilemma of like, do I choose more power? Do I choose advancement? Or do I choose my friends? And I feel like that's a pretty common dilemma that people run into.
I mean, not you.
No, but yeah, I'd have to have
So you don't
friends
have
for
any
that.
friends.
So
Exactly, loser. You're presented with that train, the split railway dilemma where it's like, oh, do you kill the one or the other? And you're just like, I don't know any of these people.
we're killing 5.
Yeah.
Choose the 1 or choose the 5. I choose the 5.
There was this, there was a meme I saw as this kid, and they like said...
I've seen that one, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Is it the one where there's the 1 and then there's the 5 and they're like, okay, the train's coming, and the kid's just like, and then picks up the 1, moves it over to the 5 and combines them and then just plows the train through them.
Are you saying that's me?
Yeah, you're a sociopath.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like something I'd do.
Yeah. Right alongside, chilling out, looking at a park, and stealing kids.
Hey, they come willingly, okay? There's no stealing that is happening here. There is consent.
Evan.
Oh, gosh.
Did you just use that phrase when talking about kids?
I sure did. It was intentional, and I was hoping you were going to pick up on it. Don't roll your eyes at me. You're the one that gave me the layout of how this works.
I don't know what you're referring to.
You know exactly what I'm referring to. Anyways, the episode.
I don't.
Other than the stranger, not Gandalf, kind of getting his dilemma from Tom Bombadil, we don't really see too much more advancement here. I mean, there's a scene there where Tom leads him to, like, there's a grove of dead trees and basically says, find it, good luck, your staff's down there somewhere, find it, bye, and then just kind of like pieces out, which I thought was kind of funny. But, which, I mean, I feel like that just adds to the character of Tom Bombadil anyways, because when you read about him in the book, he's just this very whimsical, silly character that just kind of pops in and out as he pleases. Mm-hmm. And this just feels very fitting for that type of character. But... And I just kind of thought about this. The Stranger's kind of put in an Anakin situation here. Of, like, embracing his destiny, embracing what he is to become and what he needs to do, or choosing the attachment of friends, which is a very Anakin position to be put in.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the showmakers were slightly or heavily influenced from Star Wars for that. Sorry, Derek just texted me to get on Xbox.
Well, hey, let's keep moving with this. Wrap it up, and maybe us three play Ark.
Yeah. Other than that stuff with the Stranger and the Harfoots, the last group we really have is Númenor. And coming back to our map here, I had to put the tokens for Númenor just off in the corner of the map, because as was mentioned towards the beginning of the episode, the map of Middle-earth does not include the island of Númenor, so I'm assuming Númenor is much further out than where I have the tokens placed, but that's as far away from Middle-earth as I could get them.
I don't think you try hard enough. Try harded enough? I don't think you tried hard
Try
enough.
again.
I need sleep.
But we have our characters over in Númenor with this lovely
the highest
display
res
scene I have.
image of the whole series.
Yep, I know.
Actually, Eregion is this one. This one's better than the last one.
Yeah, I was telling Jacob, I was going through trying to find the images for this little kind of like presentation, I guess, or visual aid, and I could not, for the life of me, find a good image for Rune or for I'm going to go back and look to make sure. Pelargir, which we didn't need to go to because we don't see Theo or Isildur in this episode.
Yeah.
But I tried to find like good images that had, a clean shot of it, but all I could find are like these blurred images for those two regions, which was really unfortunate.
Númenor. Elendil is sentenced. So firstly, I noted that Pharazôn snaps at his son a little bit, just being like, basically like, you've done enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he's even like irritated at the little turd.
Well, and I mean, understandably, regardless of what we think of Pharazôn, his son is being a menace around Númenor right now.
Yeah, he's being horrible.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand how Ariel, not Ariel. What's the...
Yeah, that's Arian, Elendil's daughter.
Yeah. I don't understand how she's still aligned with him.
I feel like they didn't... When they made the character and put her in the show, I feel like they just gave her one line, agree with everything Pharazôn does and says, and just kind of left the character at that.
I mean, yeah. I can see that.
But
I don't like her character.
The only in-world or in-universe thing I could think of is the grief over her... The grief of, quote-unquote, losing Isildur, right? Because at this point, she and Elendil still think he's dead. So the only thing I could think of is like that grief putting her so hard against Muriel that she'll back anybody that opposes her, that opposes Muriel. That's the only thing I could think of. Like the grief is just so strong that it doesn't matter what the other side does, she's going to agree with them because they're not Queen Muriel.
Right.
That's the only thing I could think of to try and somewhat explain her actions. Because, like, if her own father can't even get her to see or, like, to somewhat come to Muriel's side, what other explanation could there be?
Yeah. But what, you know what? Never mind about this other stuff. Elendil's just like, oh, no, you're not my king. You know, and all that. But then they get judged by this thing. Let's talk about the monster.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that image up. The sea monster. I got to zoom in for it. It's going to be blurry because, again, I didn't have a whole lot of time to get a solid image. But I'll zoom out a little bit, clear it up a little bit more.
Now, that's not even the same thing that wrecked the ship in our season 1.
No.
So this is a new thing.
Yeah, this is a new sea creature. And I'm assuming they were going for like a Kraken vibe with it, with all the the tendrils and stuff.
That is very much the vibe that I got from it.
Yeah, but which I think is kind of funny because whenever I think of the Kraken, I always think of it from. Did you ever see Clash of the Titans, the movie?
I remember that version of it. I didn't see the movie though.
Okay. No. I should clarify the live action because there's like an animated version of the movie that's much older. Oh. But if you look up the Kraken Clash of the Titans, that's the image that always comes to mind when I think of a Kraken. And like that thing is gnarly in that movie. It looks dope as heck. This, I don't think this tops it for me, but it comes pretty dang close.
Yeah, this thing's cool.
Yeah. It looks so like it is so cool in that movie, and this like I don't think this tops it for me for like a Kraken or Kraken-like creature, but it comes pretty close. Like this thing is dope.
Now, do we have any existing sea creatures in Middle-earth lore? Or is this like... This one's probably one that the show made.
Right. I'm going to do a quick check, because there's one creature that I think possibly could be, but I want to double check and make sure. There's one. It's classified as a dragon in Lord of the Rings. That looks like it could be like a sea dragon or a sea drake. Like it's got wings, but there's not any like legs or other limbs, and it looks more snake-like, but with just wings. Okay. And so, if anything, I think that maybe could be like a sea dragon, but even that, I'm not sure. I mean, we have like the Watcher in the Water from Fellowship of the Ring, as another like large aquatic creature, but maybe not necessarily a sea creature. There is a creature. I'm going to butcher this. This is a giant turtle-like creature called a Phastatokalon. Is like a named large sea creature, more turtle-like. But there are various unnamed sea serpents, or what are called fish dragons, within the universe. And then I guess you could argue that possibly some of the nameless things that Gandalf talks about in the Two Towers book, some of those I would assume are aquatic, but again, we don't have any specific names or like imagery for them.
Right.
Because like that sea creature we see in season 1, I would say was probably the producer's attempts at showing us like a sea dragon or something like that, because it kind of gave off that appearance, at least in my opinion, it did.
Yeah.
But this definitely is like the Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so cool, and I like that the show gives us like a full, like panned out view of this thing, and even then you can't see all of it because of like the darkness in the water.
Right. No, it was a really cool scene and a cool view of it. I'm glad that it wasn't just like bits and pieces to try to like hint at it or like save. I don't know. It was just I liked this a lot.
Well, and in this scene where Muriel's under the water because it's pulled her down, there's a small bit in there where it shows some of its like tentacles coming towards her, like towards her face. And I don't. You haven't played the Halo games, right, Jacob?
No.
Well, for anybody listening, in Halo 2, there's like a post-credit cutscene where it shows, for your context, Jacob, it's an AI that's like in a little chip that certain characters can use to like enhance their abilities and stuff. But she's been left behind, and it shows her in the ship, and it has like these tendrils coming towards her.
Who was left behind? What are you talking about?
What?
Is it named?
The AI?
This AI?
Yeah. Her name's Cortana.
Okay, I'm aware of enough of Halo.
I just didn't.
Total dumb.
Okay. I just didn't
freaking
know.
Yeah, I'm not you.
Anyways, she gets left behind on like this massive ship. So that way the Master Chief, the guy you play as, can like go on and try and get to the leader of the aliens to like take him out to end the war. But she has to get left behind so he can progress further into the ship because she can take control of the systems and stuff. But the post-credit scene has the Flood have gone onto the ship and are taking over. And this creature in there called the Gravemind is just this giant like mound of flesh, essentially. But it like forms into like mouths and like tendrils to like manipulate objects and stuff. But it shows some of those like tendrils like creeping in towards her little like AI generated body, and she does like this like, "Whoa, no, get away! I'm ready for you." But like the tentacles coming in just reminded me of this, and this reminded me of that. I was like, these peeps probably played some Halo. I see some influences here. That was almost verbatim.
I see.
But with this, though, I do find it interesting, and I think it's funny, because Pharazôn is trying to use the old rules, or like the old laws, whatever you want to call it, against Muriel and Elendil. And because this whole like judgment by the sea is like if the Valar want me to live, I will live. If the Valar decide if I'm supposed to die here, I will die. It is very much like an old elven kind of like ritual or like adherence to like an old elven law of some sorts.
Yeah.
And I just find it funny that like Pharazôn tries to use this against them and it totally backfires. And it's just like, for me, it was like, finally, like this dude is winning every single like political bout and battle that is going on, and finally he loses one.
Yeah.
And then this little hypocrite, Pharazôn, who basically took power.
And uses the Palantir.
He's like spreading all this stuff of, she's an elf lover, she used this Palantir, yada, yada, yada. And then he goes and uses it himself. It's like, you little... oh, my goodness.
Now I forget. Did we see what he saw in it?
Yeah, it shows. So the first like image or two is more of just like flashes of like fire or of like yellowish reddish yellow. But he sees Halbrand. He sees an image of Halbrand, like fire. I think it's supposed to be like fire and destruction, and then it shows Halbrand for his vision. Yeah. But yeah, that irks me a lot because his whole thing was, we don't like elves here. This is an old elven relic. She was using it. Let's get her out of here. Oh no, I'm gonna go use it. Let's not tell anybody.
Yeah. Well,
but, yeah.
I don't have anything else other than a whole lot of tiredness.
My last thing, I just thought it was kind of interesting. This whole like trial by sea or whatever you want to call it. I thought the title of it was kind of cool. It's called Trial by Abyss. That was a pretty cool title for what this is.
No, that's very much yeah, that's a cool title.
But other than that, though, there's not really too much more that happens in Númenor. The only other thing that comes to mind is like right before the trial, when Elendil's daughter comes to like plead with him to like, no, like say Pharazôn's the king, he'll let you live, blah 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 blah. And then like she has Muriel come in, and Muriel tries to do the same thing. They kind of started what seems like a romantic moment between Elendil and Muriel, which I thought was kind of odd, but I kind of understand as well, why it would be happening.
Mm-hmm. I've kind of picked up on like what I feel like is some sort of at least indication that there might be a direction they're going with that.
Yeah, I think there's been like hints in the past, like very small, like kind of minor hints, but this was like full blown, like hands on faces, like not quite smooching yet, but they might as well have. Jeez.
Yeah.
They couldn't have done anything else to progress that scene if they wanted to form a romance between the two of them, other than having them give a big old smooch.
Right.
But, and I don't know how I feel about that, about like if that's the direction they decide to go with for Elendil and Muriel. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I like a potential like romantic relationship between those two or not. It's kind of up in the air for me.
Yeah.
But unless you have anything else, Jacob, for this episode.
I don't.
I have a feeling I know what your
tired
high
boy.
point will be, but I'll go ahead and ask highs and lows. That big sea monster. That's what I figured it was going to be for your high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low. Ooh, you know what though? High was either this or the manipulation of Celebrimbor in the reality setting, because like that concept is like, oh,
yeah,
this is not, but probably this, because we saw it. What about you?
I was gonna say the sea monster, but that reality shift with Sauron, that is so good too. Man, those are really good points. I don't want to just sit here and like puppet what you say or like copy what you say.
Yeah, be original.
But like, man, those are solid points. It has to be one of those two.
Okay. Now, what about low? I have an answer for that, but I'm going to let you go first.
Definitely Mary Mock and Poppy smooching. I like the.
Dang
no,
it, man.
I don't.
That's mine too.
Jeez, get something original.
Hey, we're even, okay?
Yeah, that was just... I don't care for the Harfoots already. And I definitely do not... I could give... You're going to have to bleep this out. I could give a flying fuck about the Stewards. I just don't care about them at all whatsoever. And I know people like them, and so for some people out there, that's going to be some of their like favorite characters. I don't understand how, but it is. And so I can understand why they would put something like that in there, but I just thought it was dumb. I didn't like it at all. I felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just liked it a lot as well.
No.
I just don't like those characters. I don't like Poppy as is. Nori, meh. But I like her better.
Yeah.
And this whole new dude he's just, his whole character premise is this. He's a dolt.
Mm-hmm. He's just dumb.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because, like, if they would have had, like, say, Elendil and Miriel kiss and, like, say, like, for sure, romance is happening here, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, I can get behind that a lot more than I can get behind this whole Poppy nobody bit. Like, at least I like Miriel and Elendil.
Right. I love those characters. Especially Elendil. Dude, that dude just looks cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Merrimack, I like, too,
just,
with Elendil, I like, so when I was looking at some different photos and stuff, trying to kind of get some stuff set up for the kind of the little presentation, visual aid, whatever you want to call it, there were some images of Elendil, this actor Elendil, and the actor that plays Elendil in Fellowship of the Ring. For like the brief 30 seconds you see him, right? But there's like side-by-side comparisons, and this guy actually looks like he could be a younger version of that actor playing Elendil in the opening scene of Fellowship. Which I really do like. Because like you look at someone like Isildur in this show compared to Isildur in Fellowship flashback, or like the opening of Fellowship, they don't really look alike at all. Like, not even a little bit, in my opinion. But, like, Elendil looks pretty good.
Well, I mean, same with Galadriel.
Yeah. Same with most of them, truthfully.
But, like, that's not a... I don't care about that, because that's kind of like... It's a character. How are you going to successfully do that?
It doesn't bother me a whole lot. To me, it just adds to the likability of the character, in my opinion, just that the appearance kind of matches up. It's just like another point in their favor. Like for Isildur, it's not a point against the character of Isildur, but in the sense of Elendil, it is a point for him. And because it's the same thing with like the actor they have playing Gil-galad in this show. Like if you compare him to the one scene that we see Gil-galad in Fellowship, it looks pretty close. Like there's a pretty decent likeness between the two actors.
I see.
But all of that though, yeah, Poppy and nobody, no thanks.
Yeah, no thank you. Okay.
But
well, yeah, I don't know what to say. I just want
I mean, if you guys have been listening to this episode, you've probably listened to some in the past. You know our goals. 1,000 likes for bloopers, Apple reviews for live streams, all that good stuff. 500 Spotify subscribers for Jacob's Sea Shanty. Yeah. Jacob's ready for bed.
You know what the problem is? I am ready for bed, but as soon as we're done with here, I'm going to play Arc Raiders.
Well, with that, we will catch you guys either.
Yeah, no, sorry. I will muster up some energy to share. So yes, we have some goals. 25 Apple Podcast reviews. If we reach that, we will do a live stream of whatever we're covering at the time. 1,000 downloads. Every 1,000 we do a blooper reel, and that's all the outtakes that we can actually, like, that aren't in the video but won't get us in trouble. That we'll post that. 500 Spotify followers, and I will make a sea shanty about Evan. The rest of the sea shanty about Evan.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what he's talking about, the sea shanty, go listen to our coverage of season 1.
Yep. I think it was like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe. Right around there.
But anyway,
but
yeah. I don't know. Thanks
Toodles
for listening. Tell us what you think of this video too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next time we'll do it a little more sleek.
Yeah.
Cool looking.
This was last minute, kind of thrown together.
Hey, still looks great though.
Oh,
given some proper time, we could really polish this turd.
Yeah. Toads.
All right. Bye.
Deuces.